Okay. This is the Principals Roundtable. I don't know if that's the name we're going to stick with, but it's what we have right now. And it's where I ask questions and get some feedback from different students in our school. I'm here with Lauren and Lincoln. And Lauren is in 11th grade. Lincoln, this is your senior year, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So just have a few questions for you guys. First of all, how's the school year gone so far? Lauren, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I like it a lot. It's a lot better than my sophomore year so far. I like the classes I chose a lot.
Oh, nice. Okay. Lincoln.
Yeah, I like this year a lot better than last year because it's senior year, so I didn't take as many of hard classes, and so I'm able to work on stuff I love, like all my creative classes I do. So
Cool. I like that's a good strategy. It's not everyone's strategy, but I like it. Since you both have already gone through your sophomore year, my first question is, what advice would you give our sophomores right now?
I would say to focus on school because I didn't last year and I got really behind, and to also talk to your teachers because they're always willing to help you.
When you
and give
say focus
advice.
on school, like obviously that's what they're going to try to do, but what does that
Yeah,
mean?
like don't push things off, and when you're in school, actually try and learn and not just show up and leave. Like know your stuff.
So why should they not do that? Is it like a stress that happens? What?
I got stressed
Yeah.
last year just because I didn't try very hard, and then I tried and it didn't work.
Okay.
But
Advice from you, Lincoln?
of course, make sure you're doing all your classes and stuff, but I also feel like my sophomore year, I didn't really care a lot about the people, like the school as a whole kind of thing. I was just more stressed about my worries. And so I would say go out and like experience high school. Go out and go to a football game, go to a basketball game, because the best memories I remember so far throughout high school is when we as a school were like a community together, whether that's during an assembly or a game. Like I really remember those moments because I felt a sense of belonging, as in we are American Fork High School, instead of me just stressing about this one little class or one little assignment. So
I love it. So you're kind of saying focus on, don't get behind, and you're saying go have some fun.
Yeah.
So I think there's a balance there
Yeah,
that you guys
both.
can both
yeah, for
have.
sure.
My next question, we have a new schedule with flex and like a little break as well. I would love to hear your thoughts on that, how that's going. Lincoln, go ahead. You go first.
I do like the idea of having a little break, like having a little time to just go out and like see if hi to a friend and then just go to your next class. But this is just overall like all the years that we've done it. I feel like flex is a little bit too short for me because like usually all the stuff I have to go to a class to usually takes a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I do go after school to finish it, but I just feel like it's a little too short and I don't get everything I need to be done because there's also other students in the classroom and that type of stuff. So
Lauren, thoughts?
I think it's okay. I also think it's too short. I liked the one last year better where it was at the end of the school day, so you could stay if you wanted to, or you could like go home, but I think they're both good. I also haven't used flex much this year, so
I'm really actually glad that you brought this up because I worried about this. We have the flex time is actually the same as it was last year. The big difference is instead of having to stay in your class for the entire time, there's you have the option of leaving. So when you hear that breakdown song, I dance every time I hear it. But once you hear that, you actually don't have to leave your flex. And I think that's going to give some people some like, oh, should I be out in the hall breaking, having a break? But the time that you spend in your class can be longer. You can still do the flex during that time. Does that make sense? The only difference is that everyone who was kind of mandated to stay before, where you had to stay in your second period, it's just 15 minutes time. And I had a student who was like, what are we doing? I don't want this break. I'd rather have this tacked onto lunch. I understand that concern, and I want to talk to that student and many people who want to tack it onto lunch as well. I would do that if I believed that, or I should say we, because it's kind of a group decision, but the worry is that if you tacked it onto lunch, like I personally know that I would never go to flex if I could go to lunch with my friends. Like I just wouldn't. I would always choose lunch with my friends to me, and I don't want people to have to make that choice. I want them to just, whether it's flex or not flex, that they just go right at that. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I love your feedback. I appreciate it, but just know that you can't stay much longer. What is the best and worst part about being a teenager at this age right now? Either one can go first.
I could go first, I guess. I think probably one of the worst parts about being a teenager is that our bodies and our minds are still growing while we're learning all these concepts, learning all these like life skills. So I feel like it just gets stressful a lot of the time because we're still trying to learn how to exactly go through life. But I also feel like during this time we're able to learn all the things that can help us. Like we're able to learn like how to exactly be successful in life, how to be able to like deal with others.
But you don't have a lot of practice at it.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's like you kind of look like adults. You have the brains of an adult, but you don't have any experience as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is kind of why I like teenagers, because you're just normal people without having to know it all. You just kind of still experience it. That makes you super interesting to me and to many other of our teachers here. Lauren.
The worst part is probably all the stress. I feel like you get stress from a lot of different things.
Totally.
Like, I have to start looking at colleges now, even though I'm just a junior.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have the ACTs coming up. So it's stressful. But, yeah, I think the best part is this, like, social aspect. I feel like teenagers, we all really like to be with each other. So
Absolutely. It is the greatest.
Yeah.
I remember feeling, it's easy to look back and be like, I didn't have a stress in the world. And I was totally stressed in high school, more than I am now. And I had way less responsibilities. And I always say this, like, whenever you think of being an adult and having all these responsibilities, it's kind of overwhelming. You're like, how am I going to do that? But you just get better at it. You know what I mean? And it's like looking when you were in elementary school and you're like, how am I going to drive? You know, and now you're just like going from one place to the next. And I think adulthood will be like that. So I understand the stress. That stress is probably helping you like push yourself to do hard things too. But you guys are doing great. I appreciate you taking the time with me. If you ever need anything, if anyone has any questions or anyone wants to be a part of Roundtable, I'd love to talk with you guys again. You guys have been really helpful. And peace. We're out. Okay. How'd it go?
For our first